Good morning. The knock on China's military and weapons systems is that they have yet to be tested on a modern battlefield. So the stupendous growth in China's Navy, for example, has been brushed off by some Western military analysts because nobody has any idea how good it is until they find out the hard way. The skirmish between India and Pakistan earlier this month blows up a lot of those narratives that we believed in before. It will remake the global geopolitical landscape and push more countries into the BRICS column because it strikes at the foundation of the advantage with aligning with G7 and NATO countries, which is that an alliance with Western countries is more beneficial to their national security. China is Pakistan's top arms supplier, and Pakistan used this Chinese-built plane, the J-10, to shoot down Indian fighter jets. At least 2 of them, according to U.S. defense officials. India admitted to losing 3 Rafale aircraft. Pakistan said it shot down 5 Indian planes in total, along with 25 drones. The New York Times explains what India has in their air force, along with some Soviet airplanes and drones that come from Israel. India's main strike power is the Dassault Rafale. India will have 62 of those aircraft by 2030, or fewer now, I suppose. Pakistan used Chinese-built J-10s in these engagements, and this is their foreign minister, Dar, who told Parliament that Pakistani forces were ordered to only engage the Indian aircraft who launched weapons. They could have shot down twice as many, according to him. Pakistan intelligence came in at 10 p.m., They scrambled the planes, called the Chinese ambassador, and by early morning the next day, it was all over, and analysts were trying to figure out what all this means. Chinese platforms have not yet been battle tested, said Bloomberg. Now they were, and what just happened in India means that other countries are going to want the capability to do what Pakistan just did. This is a take from a media outlet here in China, which goes a little bit deeper into what happened on an operational level. The PL-15E is a Chinese-built missile with a longer range than the ones the Indians were carrying. This point involves the difficulty of integrating different technologies and platforms into operational proficiency. Fighting doctrines, systems, training, platforms all need to work together smoothly and fast. Pakistan's Air Force is mostly Chinese-built, while India has planes from Russia, France, AWACS systems from Brazil, and all that leads to more complexity. The avionics and weapons systems are from countries that are not merely incompatible, but unfriendly. As investors learn that Pakistan deployed Chinese-built air defense and engagement systems, they immediately bid up stocks in the companies that built them. Chengdu Aircraft Corporation is the maker of the J-10C, and its stock is up 40%. Nothing advertises a weapon's worth like success in real-world combat. It answered questions about China's ability to produce advanced weapons and raised new ones about what will happen next. The J-10 was designed to go up against the top Western jets, the F-16 and the Rafale. The model used by Pakistan was introduced 10 years ago and deploys 2 systems that our analysts were wondering about. How good are Chinese radars and avionics, and are those PL missiles as good as advertised? We also learned that the J-10 was stealthy. The Indian planes knew they were painted by Pakistani radars, but they didn't know where the hits were coming from. All of those are important, and they take on much more significance now that we know how things turned out. But it's the price tag which is going to move markets. The J-10 does everything that the Rafale does, and more, at less than half the price. Last year, when the capabilities of the J-10 were just theoretical, countries in the Middle East and Africa were negotiating to buy. Now those deals will go through and lead to a lot more. China has caught up, and countries can buy the top equipment at half the price. This analysis from Bulgaria is terrific, and it asks some good rhetorical questions. We should assume first that the success of the J-10 and its support systems and missiles are going to mean big export markets for Chinese arms makers. But another question becomes urgently relevant. Given how well Chinese hardware performed in these engagements between peer nations, India and Pakistan, how much better are the weapons China's military keeps for themselves? How good is the Chinese technology that is not available for export? China's weapons programs are secret, and nobody really knows how good they are. But for smaller countries, the decision to source military equipment and hardware isn't just a question of cost or capability. It also means deeper ties diplomatically, economically, and for strategic objectives. This is an anti-war channel, and if you ever suggest otherwise, it's because you deliberately misunderstood something I've said. The war and defense industries are a massive, catastrophic waste of resources and time and lives that we'll never get back. What just happened, just over there, between Pakistan and India, is most newsworthy, and it demands that we understand what it means. Trillions of dollars of global defense spending will be redirected over coming decades from Western arms suppliers to Chinese companies, starting right now. It will scramble also for decades, diplomatic and military alliances, also starting right now. This is all very good news for what now will be a huge arms export industry for China. And it's all very bad news for Dassault and our own top military contractors. But we live in a finite world, and we already don't have nearly enough civilian aircraft or civilian pilots for them. Countries are going to look at these price tags and conclude correctly that they can buy more than twice as many fighter jets and better ones with the same money. And they will. This is Chengdu in Sichuan. Be good.
No man comes to the Father but by me. Everyone who hears these words of Jesus and acts on them is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and yet the house did not fall, for it was founded on a rock. Our Father,